#1 ranking. I'm delighted to say that Tim Henman and one of the legends of the sport is with us today, Stefan Edberg. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Isn't this what tennis is all about? The big matches, and they don't come much bigger than this one.
No, this is really a grand finale here. The two best players of the year playing for the #1 spot for the year in the ATP Finals. So it's delighted to see that.
Did you used to relish those sort of matches?
Yeah, I think playing against the best players, that's what you really thrived on, and that's how you sort of really enjoy the tennis. But it was at the big moments, that's what you also remember the most.
Did you used to love playing in this event?
I used to like playing in the Masters as it was in my days, and yeah, because it was the 8 best players, but at the same time it was a very tough tournament because you couldn't really have a slow start. You needed to get go and just keep on playing.
You look at this matchup, every statistic you look at, it's just amazing, Murray and Djokovic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the way that the year has evolved, it's been a year of two halves. Djokovic was so dominant up until the French Open. We saw some of the ranking stats. It was 16,000 points he had. He was 8,000 points in front of Murray. And the second half of the year, Murray has just been so impressive. Wimbledon title, he won the Olympics. That didn't count for ranking points, but the confidence and momentum that he built up has been incredibly impressive. And we've all been sort of keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that this could be the final matchup. They've got through to the final with different routes, but it's great that we've got this match to look forward to.
Very different routes, because Andy Murray had a tough match against Kei Nishikori, an even tougher one yesterday against Milos Raonic. 3 hours and 38 minutes, and he had to save a match point. Gee, I don't know. What do I say? Wow. Murray, maybe. Absolutely. It just shows, I mean, everyone has just taken Murray, everything he's done, everyone appreciating him so much.
Very much so, and that's been a journey, hasn't it? When he came onto the scene, he was so young, 18, 19, he's always sort of been that confrontational character, and it's taken a little bit of time for some people to warm to him, but now when you sense the atmosphere here, it really is incredible.
It really is, and you can tell the atmosphere is pretty sensational behind the scenes as well. Novak Djokovic making his way here. He's bidding to finish as well, #1 for the 3rd consecutive year, his 5th in 6 years.
Winner of 66 titles, including a record 30 ATP World Tour Masters 1000s and 12 Grand Slam trophies. The 5-time tournament champion from Serbia, Novak Djokovic. ATP World Tour Finals, winner of 43 titles, including 14 ATP World Tour Masters 1000s and 3 Grand Slam singles crowns. The 2016 Wimbledon champion and the world #1 from Great Britain, Andy Murray.
Well, that was pretty special, wasn't it? A standing ovation for both players there.
And they deserve it. This is going to be a great match. It's going to be a very interesting match too here. And it's had played long matches here, and we see how he copes today. But he definitely has a chance here today.
I mean, you look at that match yesterday against Raonic, you do worry how much more he's got left.
Well, you do. I mean, it's amazing to think with one of the biggest servers in the game playing in an indoor match, that it can go on for 3 hours 45 minutes, and on the back of playing 3 hours 20 against Nishikori, he spent 7 hours on court. Djokovic came through his semi-final in an hour, 6-1, 6-1 against Nishikori. So it has been different paths, but again, Murray loves that sort of combative element. You look what he's wearing, it's the camouflage shoes. He's going to need to go out there and just put in one epic performance, and if anyone can at this stage of the year, I really think it's him.
That match, you were here for that match yesterday, Stefan. I mean, he battled so hard. The end of it was so dramatic.
Oh yeah, there was an extraordinary match yesterday. It's probably one of the better matches I've watched in a very, very long time, because he's had everything. He had drama, they were tense at times, they were playing great at times, and it really was sort of a great ending to the match, wasn't it? And,
Guys, to the same
fantastic.
It really was. Well, listen in.
Tie-break sets, ball change 79, net machine Konrad, Hockey system working this court, TV changeovers. Any questions? And this is heads, heads, Novak, heads. This is Teos, Teos, this is Teos, Andy? Yeah. Novak? Okay, so yours. Heads is call it. Teos, Andy? Sure. Okay, a picture.
Well, that certainly is a photograph to treasure, isn't it? What a moment to take that one home with the two great players here bidding for the world #1 spot. What impresses you most about Andy?
Well, he's been working so hard for so long, and you know, he's a big fighter. You know, he's been challenged with all these great players over the past, from Federer to Nadal and Djokovic, but finally sort of cracked it here, and you know, winning Wimbledon twice, the Olympics. So he's really turning out to be a great player, and here he is today. Got a great chance of finishing the year as #1, which probably be very special to him if he does. But it's not going to be easy today. Novak is on the other side. He's won here before, and I'm sure he wants to win again.
Well, he may have had his problems, they've been well documented, but certainly this week, as every match has gone by, it looks like he's really got that menacing eye of a champion again.
Yeah, that's right, and all things are relative. When you set the bar as high as he did, he won 4 Grand Slams in a row. There's only one way to go, and that's probably down, but he still made the final of the US Open. He won a Master Series in Canada, so he came into this week not playing his best. He'd had a few surprising losses. In his first match against Dominic Thiem, he was pretty grumpy on the court. He lost that first set. But then after that, you know, he's really found his rhythm. He beat Thiem 6-love, 6-2 in the second and third sets. Obviously beat Nishikori very, very comfortably in the semis. And he's been #1 for a long time. He's not going to give up that ranking without a fight.
And they love their matches, but they love a challenge as well. And Djokovic is so desperate to get his #1 ranking back. You had to do that. You've had many great rivalries over the years with, you know, Lendl, Boris Becker, particularly we remember.
Yes.
That having that #1 at the end of the year is important.
Yeah, it's so important, because you're not going to get many chances, and that's really what counts. At least it did to me, finishing #1 for the year. I did it 2 years in a row. I nearly did it 3 years, but I couldn't quite make it that year, and obviously was very disappointed when that happened. But yeah, this is going to be a final showdown, but there's the next year coming up anyway, so you're going to get more chances.
Yeah, and for Andy, I mean, 122 weeks Djokovic was at world #1, and he's only had it for 2 weeks. He's desperate to hold on to it as well.
Yeah, and I think, as Stefan said, you know, the context of being #1, Andy has achieved that, but there is a significant difference between being #1 and finishing the year #1. So, you know, it doesn't need us to sit here and explain the importance of this match. It's out there, it's best of 3 sets. They've got to go out there and leave it all out on the line and see who comes out on top.
Absolutely, it's so this match means so much to them, doesn't it? But you know, for Andy Murray, you've just got to think, you know, can his sore body get back out on court and have enough left in the tank to worry him?
Well, as I see it, this is the last match of the season. He's probably tired, but you know, he's strong enough. It's more of a mental game out, I think, to pull through here. I think he can do it, but like I said before, it's going to be tough. He's going to probably work really, really hard, but more of a mental game.
And also, as far as Murray is concerned, I was watching him practice today. He was going for the shots again. Maybe he's going to try and keep the points shorter because he doesn't want the long rallies like he had last night.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're looking at all the different scenarios, how Murray can come up with a strategy. I think the longer the match goes on, it obviously favours Djokovic. I think Murray's got to look to be proactive when he gets the opportunity to take the ball on. He's got to go for his shots. And I do think the crowd have a part to play. I think to lift Andy, to give him that extra little bit of energy. But in the past, we've seen Djokovic get a little bit frustrated when he isn't the sort of crowd favourite. And, you know, if that can give Murray the extra % at the end of the day, then so be it.
Yeah, and he's got Ivan Lendl in his corner. I know.
Oh, yeah.
you know him well. He's a bit scary, isn't he?
Lendl is Lendl, and he's always been the same and probably will be the same, but he really is a character in itself, and but he's been really good for Andy, I think, and he's probably happy to have him in the box today.
Absolutely. And of course Boris Becker is with Novak Djokovic, and they've done an amazing job, because you know that Djokovic didn't become a bad player overnight. You know, he had those problems, and you know, he's worked hard, more I think mentally, to get himself back in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he hasn't changed as a tennis player physically and technically since Wimbledon, but obviously mentally he hasn't been as focused. We've seen at times he's been a little bit distracted on the match court. There's been an element of frustration coming into his game with his performance. We've seen how he's been you know, a little bit sort of touchy in the press conference with a few questions about his attitude. So those are all elements that Murray will have right in the very back of his mind to go out there and be as resilient as he's been and give 100% and see what happens.
Okay, well, we're all set for this match. The players will be coming out in just a moment. Stefan, who are you going to pick as a winner? Remember, this is the BBC.
Yes. Well, I have to be pretty honest thinking about it. I think there is a slight advantage for Djokovic in this final, but I think it'd be nice for Murray if he can win it, because Djokovic has won it many times.